How's it going, everybody? Today I have a tournament battle that I had against Gonks Kalua on a Showdown OU tournament. So there's nothing on his team that I was particularly afraid of. His team is fairly slow, which I can take advantage of, especially because I have the Volt turn action. So we're going to get right into it. I'm going to lead off with my Tornadus as he leads off with his Latios. And I'm a Salt Vest, so I just decide to stay in here and go for a knockoff. If he switches into something, then that's good for me. I get rid of its item, or I can get rid of this Latios item and hit it with super effective damage. And his Psyshock actually crits, which does a lot to me. So I stay in and go for a Hurricane now, which does not take him out. I thought it might have, which is why I stayed in, and the Draco Meteor picks me off. So right now I'm thinking, what can I go into? Oh, I'll just make sure I get damage off on something. So I go into a Azumarill, which doesn't have thick fat. It does have huge power. That's just a joke. And I get it to pick him off with the Aqua Jet, which is sweet. Azumarill is the only thing I have with priority. So he goes into his Medicham, and I think I can live a hit. I'm not 100% sure. But I just go for the Aqua Jet anyway to get up damage, and it does over 50%, which is great. So he goes for the Zen Headbutt to try to take me out, but I live it. So now I can take him out with the next Aqua Jet, except he switches into Garchomp, and I die to Rough Skin plus Rocky Helmet. But not a huge deal. I got a bit of damage off on Garchomp, and at this point I'm thinking, what can I go and do? Well, I'm going to my fastest Pokemon to make sure I outspeed him, because I have the HP Ice on here. And I outspeed him before Mega Evolving, so I can pick him off with the HP Ice. I thought he would switch out into Azumarill maybe, but his two resistances to Ice, I have Flamethrower for in the Mega Zone, and Thunderbolt for in the Azumarill. So he goes into this, obviously going for the Aqua Jet, so I go into my hard counter, lost control, the Ferrothorn, and that Aqua Jet does nothing. But I actually don't have the leftovers on this thing, so I'm going to just go for a Leech Seed to get back that little bit of health, and he switches into Magnezone, obviously trying to trap me. Now, this would have been a good play, except I have Shed Shell, and he was really surprised that I had Shed Shell, so he's obviously going for the HP Fire here, and I take it with Garchomp, no problem. So here I'm going to go for the Earthquake, I believe. Yeah, I'm going for the Earthquake, which I know if he switches in Azumarill will do a lot of damage anyway. So he had nothing levitating left, so I just go for the Earthquake. The second one does take him out. The crit didn't matter there. And now I believe he switches in his Medicham. Now I didn't know if this thing would have the Ice Punch to take me out, which turns out it did. So I get a little bit of damage off there with Rough Skin and Rocky Helmet, but he takes me out, which is kind of unfortunate. But I have this for my Pikadog for the Magnezone, and at this point, I'm thinking there's not much I can do. So he switches into Magnezone, which I predict. Go for the Flamethrower. Doesn't take him out, actually, but now I'm faster than him. I can take him out with the next move. Thunderbolt's my best play, because even if he switches out, I can get a lot of damage off on Hoopa, and then proceed to go for Volt Switch the next turn. So he goes in his Hoopa now, which I can Volt Switch on, and go out into my Ferrothorn. I figured he'd either go for something physical, I can get Rocky Helmet, or he goes Focus Blast off on this, or Iron Barbs off on him. He goes for Focus Blast, which kind of sucks, but at the same time, I'm like, great. He does not have Drain Punch. He cannot get his health back. As long as he stays in here, which he does, I get the Volt Switch off. Now I win. I can sack off my Hoopa and then proceed to kill the next two Pokemon with Thunderbolt. So I go into Hoopa here, and he Focus Blast. I live it, which is not a problem. It's a neutral hit, not stab. And then he misses his next Focus Blast, which does not matter at all, because I could have taken both out with my Pikadog. So I go for Dark Pulse here, take him out. In comes the Medicham, and he goes for High Jump Kick, actually, which was a bit risky because that move can miss. But at this point, it didn't matter. Manectric takes out the rest of his team, and I go for the Thunderbolt and take him out. So Mega Manectric is super strong. I thought this was a really good battle, really proud of how I played, and brought me to the third round of that tournament. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll be back next time. Bye!